Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts, like the chart behind me of Rocket Lab, ticker symbol RKLB. And I will also be going over Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE. But to start, I'm going to go over Rocket Lab, following up on the last video that I made when I went over these lines. And so, and if you have further questions on them, you can check out that video. And so that video, I went over the stock price on January 1st. And so the last trading day was this one, December 29th. We had this big red candle going down almost 4.5% on the day. And I had suggested that this looked like bearish consolidation. And as it turns out, the stock price did break to the downside, actually gapping down. But then on the 4th, the stock price went up by 7.25% for this green candle. And then we did get this, what looks like an inverted bearish hammer candle on the 5th, Friday the 5th. And a couple things that I do want to go over. Basically, what we see here with the close on the 4th, we got a close at $5.47, and we got this wick above. So it looks like that could be kind of like a topping tail. And then the following day, we got a close that was actually lower, closing at $5.40 that we see up here. And so, it went down. And so that is actually bearish. We have this nice topping tail with a close lower than the prior close. So it looks like there's a significant amount of resistance up there. And so I would think that price will continue to the downside, potentially to fill this gap down here at about $4.50. However, if I do put up the moving averages, it does look like the 21-day moving average is actually at the exact same price as the 200-day moving average. The red line here looks like it's about to cross, or the blue line. They're right at the same level. So if we see a green day on Monday, that would be January 8th, that could be bullish for the stock. It could be going higher. But if we do see a continuation to the downside, there could be a rejection from this crossover. And so that would, potentially be fairly bearish. Also, these levels right around $5 could actually serve as support. As we can see here, this gap up, the tail of that candle came down to a price of $4.94. So it is quite possible that if the stock price does come down, it could find some support where the moving averages are. So that is something to consider. But generally, I would say the signals here are telling me that it's bearish other than these moving averages. All right, and so now I'm going to switch over to Virgin Galactic, and I'm just going to clean that up for a second. And before I throw up all of those drawings that I made, here's the chart. And I found some really cool stuff on the chart that I wanted to share. And so the cool things, the thing that really stood out to me as exciting is this orange downtrending line, which has a pivot point based on the low on April 6th, and then also the other pivot point, let's see, it's actually back here, is on, I believe, the low of, December 27th, 2022. And so we got those two touch points there, pivot points, and then it looks like it served as support over here. It looks like in August, and then broke below that. And then it looks like it tested that as resistance a little bit, but then broke through. And so now we are above that. So that could potentially be serving as support. But one thing that does look bearish to me is that it is trading within this uptrending channel. So I do think that may break to the downside. And if we actually look closely at it, we can see that it is testing the bottom of that channel. And, you could adjust the line a little bit, but it does look like the close on Friday, January 5th of $2.33 potentially closed below that line. So there's been a lot of tests. So I do think that could be bearish, but it could find support at this orange line that would be dropping down to a price of like $2.20, $2.17, potentially coming down to this red line that I have marked here at $2, just being like a psychological level. And also there was some consolidation here that below that red line could serve as support. But we could also be dropping below that with these two gaps to the downside, one at $1.70, another one at $1.51. So that is something to consider. But if we do get some volume on Monday, early next week, we could potentially see a bounce from the bottom of this channel to continue upwards within it. But like I said, it is an uptrending channel, which does tend to break to the downside. And then I'm just going to throw up the moving averages here, and it does look like it is below the 21-day moving average, so that does not seem to be that great. But the 50-day moving average, the yellow line, is at a price of $2.11, so right around where this orange downtrend is. So it is possible that area could serve as support. And one other thing that I want to do, and actually with both charts, I forgot to do this with Rocket Lab, is just look at this on the weekly time frame. And as we can see, it does look like we have this kind of like spinning top doji for the most recent week. And so that's kind of suggesting that there's some indecision. It might be going to the upside, continuing in this channel, but it could be breaking to the downside. And so based on what I see in the charts, I would guess that it's going to break to the downside, coming down to either $2.20, $2.10, or $2, right around there, and then potentially coming down to fill these gaps. And then looking at the weekly with Rocket Lab, I think this is another bearish sign that we see. Actually, no, this is actually a bullish sign, or potentially bullish, that there have been buyers stepping in below the price of $5.40. So every time that we've seen price come down below that level, below the close that we got on Friday, buyers have been stepping in. So that is potentially bullish, but it does look like, we do have this big weekly topping tail that did fill this gap to the upside. So, the fact that we did come down, this signal might be a false bullish signal because the more dominating signal here that I see is this topping tail from the prior week. And so, those are my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.